Hello, this is Karen May, and today we're going to talk about the chapter on forgiveness from my Bible study, Be Not Afraid. Now, as I've gone through this study with several different groups, the same question comes up on this chapter over and over again. What if it's not possible to reconcile with the person that I'm supposed to forgive? What if it's not safe for me to reconcile with that person? How does that work with forgiveness? So what I want to do, now that you've gone through this chapter, is to go back to the story of Joseph and point out a couple things that you may not have noticed as you went through the first time. So Joseph has been sold by his brothers into slavery and has been sent to jail for something he never did. But then he was transformed into this leader of Egypt who is now second below Pharaoh, in charge of all of Egypt, able to do whatever he wants. So he has seen somewhere in this process that God's plan was much, much different than the plan of his brothers. And he has been able to forgive them, even though he did not know if he was ever going to see them again. But all of a sudden, one day, they show up at his door. I want you to notice what Joseph does. As they show up, we know that he has forgiven them because he sends them home with all of the supplies that they need, everything that they have asked for, and the money that they have come to offer to Joseph in order to get these supplies. The forgiveness is there and the forgiveness is complete. But he does not reveal himself. He does not tell them who he is. Instead, he tests them first. He needs to know that it's possible to reconcile with them. And if their hearts have not changed, it's not possible. So he needs to test. He wants desperately to reconcile. But he needs to find out if it's appropriate and if it is time. So he sends them back to get this other son that they have left behind. This other son is the other favorite son of Jacob. Have they left him behind because of hatred and envy, or have they left him behind for another reason? When they bring him back, he tests them again by arresting Benjamin and threatening to throw him in jail forever. And he sees that his brothers have changed their hearts as they offer themselves in the place of Benjamin, as they offer themselves knowing that this is not a favored son that they are willing to get rid of or to abandon. And at that moment, Joseph knows that reconciliation is possible and reveals himself and welcomes them back to Egypt, offering them all of the supplies they would ever need, offering to bring back Jacob so that the family can be reunited. So we have those moments when the injury is too deep and too fresh, and we have to heal before we can forgive, and that is fine. And we have those moments that the person who has hurt us is dangerous if we get back to reconciliation, if we include that person back in our lives. Or it's just not possible because that person is not anywhere near us and it's not possible to include that person in our lives. And that is okay. Forgiveness is something completely different from that. The goal is forgiveness with reconciliation. And that's where the grace of God comes in. When God can enter into that moment where things just seem impossible and can fill it with a healing that would not have been possible without him, it's an amazing thing. And that's why we lay it at the feet of Jesus, isn't it? So I invite you to do the same. Thank you for listening, and be not afraid.